Twitter will be charging new users a $1 per year subscription in New Zealand and the Philippines in what they are calling the Not a Bot program.
Let's go.
According to Twitter, the subscription would bolster their already significant efforts to reduce spam, manipulation of our platform, and bot activity.
I wonder how that's going for MMO platforms.
These users will also need to verify their account with a phone number. This is a quote here. New users who opt out of subscribing will only be able to take read-only actions, such as viewing posts and watching videos. It is unclear from the announcement why the rollout is only for these two specific countries, but I am going to say something that sounds like it's going to be very unpopular and say this seems like an effective, if maybe even if it has the potential for unintended consequences, idea. Extremesystems.org is an old school overclocking extreme cooling forum.
The second I originally read this topic, however many days ago it came out, because I knew about this one happening, I immediately thought about Extreme Systems.
So Fugger, the site admin.
What a name.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever. Basically, old school legend in the extreme cooling and overclocking scene. Just couldn't keep up with the amount of spam and crap on the forum, and eventually, for all new signups, so it wasn't for existing accounts, for all new signups, implemented a $1, I think it might have even been one time. I don't think that it was a subscription. Don't quote me on that. But implemented a sign-up fee and said that it immediately and forever eliminated spam from the site. The only problem with that is that as far as I can tell, basically none of you know what Extreme Systems is because it's pretty much a ghost town over there. They do still have a small community from what I can tell. I haven't signed on in quite some time. I almost never see anything linked there or anything like that. I mean, maybe, yeah, look at this. Hey, they're still kicking. Extremesystems.org. Yeah, here it is. You have to register before you can post. Click the register link, but registration is a $1 to post on this forum. Let's see. Virtual and augmented reality. Last posted August 24th, 2020. Ooh. Okay, but here's something more recent from a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Okay, it's pretty slow. I'm trying to think. What were some of the more active? Okay.
How many? Just Control F 2023.
Yeah, most subforums have been posted in this year. Some of them are not visible if you're not signed in. Oh. So that's something to watch out for. Like I think there's some just chit-chat ones, but you can just tell there's things that generally have not been kind of looked at in a while. I don't think anyone is looking for information about 8-bit motherboard support in the last 10 years, 13 years. To be clear, I don't know what path would have worked better for them. I loved that community. I learned so much of what I know there. Super, super knowledgeable people. Really passionate community in its prime. Shout out Martin's Liquid Lab. And I understand they had a problem with spam and bots. I mean, we run into a lot of the same things on the LTT forum, and maybe it was just kind of it was too niche for them to have a large enough moderator team to handle that stuff without battening down the hatches. Something down the hatches. I think that Twitter is probably going to run into a similar situation if they roll something like this out more broadly. I doubt that those particular countries are, an especially large source of scammers and spammers on the platform. What I suspect is that they're just small markets where they can run this test and see if it's effective in any way for some period of time. But I suspect we already know what the conclusion is, and that is that this will be so damaging to overall user engagement that any upside, which would be a reduction in bots, for real, I think they would see a significant reduction in bots. Any upside would be outweighed by the loss of momentum on their platform that keeps Twitter still relevant after all this time. Like I go on it far less than I used to, but there are certain things that Twitter is better at than anything else. Like the Sniper Wolf controversy that happened over the last week. Have you heard about this?
Vaguely, yeah. She doxed someone or something?
Yeah, she literally went to Jax Films' house and posted a video in front of it asking her...
criticized him or something? Or other way around, sorry?
Yeah, because he called her out for just being a reaction streamer, which has become very controversial over... pretty much since the WAN show where we talked about launching a React channel. Like Dark Viper was already
kind of interesting.
Dark Viper was already talking about it before that, but I feel like a lot of momentum has picked up in that time, which is sort of funny.
Like literally what
to be clear,
though?
I am not saying that it's because of us. I am just saying that the timing is very interesting. By the way, I found a fatal flaw in this product. I managed to rip through the little loop already, so we would probably have to embed some kind of reinforced material in the loop part of it, which is going to complicate the shooting the molds. And see, this is how every product we develop ends up taking a year or two.
Because you break it.
Yeah, which is good because it's better for me to break it than for you to break it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It just means everything takes forever. I'm trying not to break the table again. So anyway, yeah, I feel like I talked a lot about this. Any thoughts? Oh my God, Sebastian, not Linus, in Floatplane chat. One of our people who works in the engineering department. I don't know if he's technically an engineer because that's a protected term in Canada, and if you use it wrong, engineers get mad.
Very, very mad.
Yeah, he might be an engineer. I don't know. Doesn't matter. He does engineering things. He says that prototype is full of bubbles.
That's gonna make people mad too.
And made in 30 minutes. Okay, Sebastian. I get it. I get it. He is a strong proponent of this particular
Sebastian,
product.
how long is it going to take, do you think, for one of these to wear out to the point where bits are going to fall out of them?
Ooh. Honest answer is only Sebastian.
When it's not made in 30 minutes and doesn't have bubbles in it.
Yeah.
When it passes QC.
Yeah.
In the meantime, while he responds, I don't care about anything that happens on Twitter. I find it all hilarious. I found it hilarious when they changed their name to X. I find this hilarious. If this kills it, I'll find that hilarious. If this makes it boom in activity, I'll find that hilarious.
Okay, that's
just
fair.
Everything that happens, I think it's funny at this point, which is... I am happy that I feel this way because I think it is just so much better. I don't know. I think it's funny. They're going to start charging people to use the site that people hate the most. That's hilarious. I don't think it's going to work.
I think it's wild how Mark Zuckerberg has, in my opinion, been probably the biggest beneficiary of Twitter turning into even more of a flaming dumpster fire. And I'm not even talking about threads. I'm just talking about how broadly hated he was.
Yeah.
And how
the internet seems to like him.
It seems to be turning around.
Yeah. The guy who said when people shared their information with him through making Facebook accounts, he called them effing idiots. People liked that guy.
Well, it's all
really
relative.
Interesting.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a good billionaire. You just have to not be the worst one.
Yeah. Because there's only enough attention and focus to go around.
Pretty much.
Very interesting. But yeah, I don't think this is going to do anything. I think you don't need to look any further past bots and MMOs to see why. These bots are buying accounts and paying active significantly more subscription dollars than $1.
I disagree.
If there is a form of monetization to be had, the bots will go for it. There is state-funded money behind bots on Twitter.
Okay, that's true.
They do not care about $1 subscriptions.
Speaking of which, okay, this is something that I asked for to be in the doc this week. Did it not end up in here? Did they not put in my thing? Dang it.
Yeah, it's not going to change much. It might change some things. I suspect, hilariously enough, it might get rid of the really bad bots. but it's going to keep the like really good ones, which might actually increase the effectiveness of the good bots. Because if people are more trusting of the platform because they believe there are less bots or no bots, they'll believe the good bots more. So I don't know.
Okay. Speaking of bots, I had a really interesting experience. I'm sorry, I'm changing the topic here a little bit. I was for some reason trying to find information on that Huawei Mate 60 with the new Kirin 9000S processor. So this is that all China all the time chip that allowed Huawei to launch a purportedly flagship tier, or at least premium-ish tier smartphone. So it's apparently, according to some experts, according to Hot Hardware, 14 nanometer grade in terms of the technology, even though they are claiming that it's a 7 nanometer node. It seems more in line in terms of performance with 14 nanometer ish, or I mean maybe not. Maybe it's just kind of a not as good 7 nanometer design. I don't know. Doesn't matter. The point is, I was reading about it and I wanted to see, okay, what do people think is kind of, what's going on? What do people on Hot Hardware think? And this was one of the most brazen, blatant examples I think I had ever seen of bot activity, just obvious bot activity outside of a major site like Twitter. And it was really eye-opening in terms of how the Chinese propaganda machine works and how broadly it is trying to influence opinion outside of the obvious targets, I guess. Because I don't generally delve into the comment section that often. But like, look at these comments. Bill asks, is there any phone that can make satellite call? No. Is US afraid to Huawei development? Yes. Then above article is not believable. 28 thumbs up. Life as Josh. HotHardware.com is not a scientific journal. None of their results should be considered true. They do not post their methods or variables for testing, nor do they have the resulting values peer-reviewed. HotHardware.com is an entertainment publisher. They make money like any other website through ads. True. Performance is not just numbers. It is about functionalities. If you need to crunch number, there are more supercomputer on the market. This is incredible because as far as I can tell, these are not bots. These appear to be human written comments based on talking points interacting with each other.
I mean, this is a thing. We know that's a thing for sure. The I don't remember what they call it, but the whatever farms. So
Sorry?
there's pictures of them. They're just like
Oh, like content farms.
Yeah.
The table above clearly has an agenda to disrepute Huawei Mate 60. It should be viewed with suspicion. This seems to be an actual person getting downvoted by bots. Anyway, it was this article just stood out to me because almost the entire comment section is just Chinese bots interacting with each other about
or not bots.
Or from what I can tell, more likely actual people typing these messages because they are different enough from each other in terms of their mastery of English, for example, in terms of their tone, in terms of the way that they approach the talking points, that I really don't think it's an LLM. I think it's actual individual users just creating this wave of spam about an article that it's not even trashing on it. Like, if you look at the article itself, this is what's really kind of mind-blowing to me. If you look at the article itself, it's pretty objective. Here's what it is. It has some semi-custom ARM cores. Here's the benchmarks relative to some other phones. They're not trashing on it, but they are calling out things that are not true. Huawei talks a lot about AI and machine learning, but we found little to no optimization for machine learning. The GPU doesn't do particularly well. The performance, it can't compete with the latest mobile SoCs or even many that are years old. Still, we're impressed that the Kirin 9000S exists at all. In a few years, their domestic chip manufacturing has ramped up despite lacking access to Western technology. It's a pretty balanced,
positive even
article talking about the future capabilities. But somehow this ended up on the hit list and just
got dunked on.
Yeah. And like, okay, I just want to make it clear, like this, guys, it wasn't just like 4 or 5 messages. Like it goes on for quite a while. Like this is a pretty poorly written comment, but is probably not from a content farm. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, some of these are newer. No mention of satellite link in the article. That distinguishes Huawei from the rest. Anyway, all right. Sorry, this is a totally unrelated thing.
What's up with the satellite link? So we can do satellite calls?
Yeah, I might have some kind of satellite calling. Phone? Apparently. I mean, look, the system works.
Yeah.
We are now investigating the satellite calling functionality of the Kirin 9000S.
I mean, I don't care about it, but it might have it.
But now you're learning about it, and you are broadcasting it to
X amount of people.
Some number of people. Floatplane doesn't have a viewer count.
Got him. Get owned. Don't need it.
Fine. Every time I bring this up, he's like, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "How long will it take? How much will it cost?" A lot. And I'm like, "Okay, forget it."
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's kind of how that goes.
Nice. Also won't be accurate because getting around ad blockers is really annoying.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, what else do you want to talk about? Oh, balls. Sponsors, right. Sponsors. The sponsor of my balls.
Really expensive table balls is what he's talking about.
Yeah. Tableballs.com. Okay, please tell me that's not a thing.
Nope. I'm opening Cloudflare. It's gonna redirect to LTT store soon enough.